has prepared here now. I'll hand you over to him.
Thank you very much. Just so you know, I'm going to be reading this because I only finished it last night, so I haven't learned it yet. Don't worry, it's not as long as it looks. It's spaced out a lot. Rachel told me she expected a big declaration of love in my speech, but I'm sure you don't want to hear a big lovely love story. But my grandfather Pierce was a great fan of recitation, so I'm after trying my hand at writing a bit of one here. Now, I'm not a poet, and I know it, so I've borrowed a good bit from good writers and butchered a bit more and put this together, so hopefully you enjoy it. It's called The Princess and the Farm Boy. All characters are fictional and any resemblance to persons living or dead is purely coincidental. Copyright is Ronan Gagin 2019, all rights reserved. So in 1988, Sweet Child of Mine was a hit, and in London a child was born, healthy and fair and fine. A princess to her Irish parents who oohed and cooed and soothed her whines. And on a small Leitrim farm, a little boy with buckets of charm who had been showered in love with parents gentle as doves, ensuring he came to no harm. Not an easy task, let me tell you. A little while later, the princess returned to the home that her parents had previously adjourned. Curious and happy, she thought of having tea with the queen, and meeting a chivalrous prince was her dream. If she didn't have a crown, she'd be rather downhearted. But of course, no matter what, from her bare head, she'd never be parted. Now, over the road, unbeknownst to all, her prince-in-waiting was on the ground after another fall, eating some dirt, and in his stained white-black shirt, was thinking, I need a better way to catch this fecking hen than chasing them around this dirty old pen. And then, in the blink of an eye, the princess was in school, where politeness is rare and manners are few. Her life was a studious affair, but after the homework was all done, the moon had come out to replace the sun. She dreamed of princes no more. A knight in shining armour is who she'd fall for. Her knight was wielding a sword of ash, raging a war against a field of thistles, all cocky and brash. He wondered how he would find time to woo Emma Watson while acting and writing his bass playing prime, and still play county, well, at least on the line. College was a slog, for our girl's a hard worker, and sharp as a tack. But with nose to the grindstone, the slightest noise would irk her. There was no time for thinking of boys, be they princes or lost heroes called Jack. But in a moment was spared, when the genius was a brain, is what she'd have been looking for to attain. The genius, at that hour, was watching Frank Spencer on rerun, thinking, this show is not only good fun, but very insightful. A character so easy to relate to, why, it's quite frightful. And then came the day when our lovers finally greet. Well, no prince was our hero, but a handsome face is hard to beat. And Galway's McLally, the pair do dally, and across the room their eyes do meet. Poor Watson lay forgotten in an instant, when lashes fluttered and fleet. Now time passes so quick it's blurred. Before you know what's hit him, the hero's almost deterred. He's meeting the parents. His palms are sweaty, knees weak, arms are heavy. There's vomit on his sweater already. He does that a lot, but she's got used to it now, they're going steady. And he's crashed the car on the way here. Sure, he's just not ready. But there's nothing to fear, her mum is a gem. And her dad, well, at least he doesn't condemn. Though he does steal the hero's jellies, just when he was trying to settle his belly. In fact, our hero is accepted into the family in a stroke. Sure, he fits right in, at the butt of Orla and Cormac's jokes. Not to worry, he's had plenty of practice at home. He does, after all, suffer from the Frank Spencer syndrome. And the whirlwind continues, with love and laughter, struggles and fears, and white-knuckle car lessons driven through 3 years. All leading steadily to this fine day, a wedding day. Our hero finds himself standing in front of family and friends who are all dressed up in the latest trends, and he greets them with a thank you, whilst secretly wondering at the lengths people will go to get away from the children for a day or two. And his thoughts turn to those who could not make it. If he did not mention those who were missed, he would be remiss. So he asks all to stand and raise a glass and toast absent friends and family. To absent friends. And now he thanks his new in-laws for always making him feel at home, and not only by getting him to make his own tea in that kettle of chrome, but inviting him on holidays and including him in dinner, even when it was obvious he could do it being a bit thinner. For trusting him to look after their daughter, and every way that they've helped our couple through cheer and laughter, even when things look blue, he has to say thank you. To his own parents he turns, and no words are enough. Well, without them, for starters, his face would be rough. Not only with their genes, but by saving him from his own reckless means, they ensured he reached this day with his visage so clean. And he must thank Alana and Cormac for their readings, sure was great, sure that's a fact. And Alana and Shauna, of course, helped write the invites before their dispatch. Well, now you hardly expected them to let him do it with his chicken scratch. And the faithful readers with their faithful prayers, Karen and Kieran, Sinead and Finan, we can but say thanks a ton. Thanks for the ushers, Shauna and Shane, and Father Peter for a wonderful campaign. And then to our bridesmaids for all their help. He's sure you'll agree they look stunning today. And he asked the crowd to raise a toast to Maggie and Orla. Maggie and Orla. Of the groomsmen, not much can be said. Should have lived in the hero's shadow, or so I've read. A stupid cast a big shadow. Two bigger brains it's hard to find, and they're good and brave and kind. Although they've had their fair few fights back in the day, they always had his back, he has to say. If he needs them for anything, he has but to call, and sure it's been that way since before they could crawl. So he takes this day to thank them for all, and they'd better like it because they'll never hear it again. Attention now to the lady of the hour, the woman who has the word husband now in her power. She sits there as beautiful as can be for all to see. He has no word, so he's borrowed some. 1988 had quite a few, so see, he's not so dumb. Rachel, we're no strangers to love. You know the rules and so do I. A full commitment's what I'm thinking of. You wouldn't get this guy from any other guy. I just want to tell you how I'm feeling. Gotta make you understand. Never gonna give you up, never gonna let you down, never gonna turn around and desert you. It's taken time, a whole lot of precious time. It's going to take time and patience. But I got my mind set on you. But none of these words seem proper, so he tries a few of his own. Neither of us saw this coming. Our lives now have not been to the beat we dreamed of drumming. For me, it's better. I couldn't be happier if all I dreamed came true, because life with you has done all the dreams that grew. I think we are living a dream, and I hope it continues for years to come. And so our hero would pass on to those who gathered here today. Life is unpredictable, but that doesn't mean that it's going wrong. It's just to a different song. It's something unpredictable, but in the end it's right. And so for my wife and I say, we hope you have tonight the time of your life. Thank you.
my effort is going to seem fairly inadequate after that. Thanks, Ronan.